Oh, welcome to Monday. I hope it's a good Monday for you. If you're looking out the door, maybe you're seeing what I'm seeing. Somebody needs to come over and shovel my snow for me a little bit, just in time for the next storm to come into town and put some more on top of it. Who knows? We're definitely in the winter time. It's definitely cold outside, and there seems to be a lot of snow blowing around. If you had to get out and go to work today, I hope it's a safe trip for you, and I hope you made it warm and comfortable. It's an interesting time of the year, an interesting day, and all. But for a moment, let's set all that aside. Not completely, but come on in and let's think about something together for a moment. I don't know about you, but if you're like me, I look at it something like this. I don't see it as I did as a child. As children, we saw the snow come. We'd stay up late in the evening hoping that the announcement would come in that school would be canceled the next day. We didn't know anything about how important it was to be at school every day. We just looked for a day off, looked for a day to play in the snow. I remember one year, I think it was about the end of February, early March, and we had about 11 inches of snow that came in. Early in the morning, some of my friends were at the door ready to play. We got out, we built our snow fort. We had the best time. Our fingers were so cold and hurt so bad, but we had a great time in the snow. And all, there's still some pictures remaining from that day. That's the way children go about it. They look about it. Turn my dog loose in the backyard, and he runs around like it's a normal day. He wants back in just because that's where we are. But cold doesn't seem to bother him much. Of course, he's got about 2 inches of fur on him all the way around, so it doesn't bother him. But I look at it and I think, boy, it's cold outside. And the snow kind of holds things down. That's why I'm in my own living room today. Didn't venture out to go to the church building or the office today. But that's all beside the point. I think when we look at something like this, we see not the fun of it, but a lot of times we see the negatives. We see the problems that it brings. We see the crashes on the freeways and so forth, sometimes the losses of lives, the difficulty it brings to firemen to make it to disasters or problems or houses that are burning or such as that, or the policemen to get around and take care of business and protect us. Or if you need some repairs, it's hard to get someone to your house when there is something bad going on like this, or the difficulty of the weather. And we wonder, why in the world are things like they are? Maybe in the last several days you've seen the cold and you've seen the snow. You've dealt with the ice. We've seen the difficulties it's brought our way, and you've wondered, why in the world is the Lord allowing such a thing to happen? Well, in the last few days I've been reading from the book of Job. I'm reminded of how precious life is and the people around us. But even more, I'm reminded that we don't control the circumstances, nor do we see the larger picture of all things. We don't necessarily know how all things came about from our own viewpoint, but we'd like to see them run our way, wouldn't we? I think about what the Lord told Job as he began to question him at the end of that great book. Basically, he says, stand still, let me throw a few things at you, ask you some questions, and see who you think you really are. One of the questions that he put before Job was the one that says, have you entered the Treasury of Snow? Among the other things, he's talking about the nature of things. Have you seen where I get all of this? And we look out at the events going around about us, and we wonder, where in the world could all this come from? And there it is. God said, have you entered the Treasury of Snow? In other words, he says, I made all this. I brought it into being. I'm the one who understands it far more than you do. In our limited sphere of life, we think we ought to be able to determine what should be, what shouldn't be. And I know we all have our likes and our dislikes. But I guess for today, I'd like to be that squirrel that's dancing across the yard, or the dog that's out wading into the snow and looking around and thinking I'm the king of the world. I'd like to be one of those children again, out playing in the snow fort for a while. I guess maybe those days are a lot behind me, but I guess what I would encourage those of you who are closer to my age to do is to look out at it, see the beauty and the wonder of it. Yeah, it's creates some difficulties for us, but we'll manage, won't we? In a few days, it'll be behind us, and we'll think about it, and we'll talk about how amazing it was and what it did to us and things like that. But for today, let's look at the wonder of it and say, how much snow does the Lord really have in his treasury of snow? Unique and unusual. The wondrous things of God are so far big, so far larger than us, so big that we can't even begin to imagine what they are. So today, in the wonder, in the cold, in the difficulties, let's pause and reflect and say, oh Lord, how wondrous are your ways. We'll share some more down the road, but I want to thank you for being with me today. Maybe we'll be able to get out among people a little better in the days ahead. But I hope this is a good day for you. Relax, enjoy it, see the beauty of it. And if you're of a generation or so ago, maybe even make a little snow ice cream. It wouldn't hurt you too much. And enjoy the day. Glad to be with you today and look forward to sharing some more in the days ahead.